Mirëmbrëma miq, mirë se erdhet në programin Familja 7. Sonte do të flasim për një temë të rëndësishme, karakteri i Perëndishëm që ne si gra duhet të zhvillojmë. Jemi me një grua vërtet të perëndishme. Në fakt jeta e saj është një dëshmi se si Zoti e ka ndryshuar jetën e saj, se si e ka mbushur plot. Çdo thotë të kesh karakterin e Perëndisë. Për këtë temë ne do të flasim sonte me Rivka Korman, e cila ka ardhur nga Izraeli, është drejtuese e shërbesës një jetë e frymëzuar Biblike. Mirë se na erdhe në studio.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Faleminderit për kohën tënde. Pyetja e parë që dua të drejtoj është kush është një shembull i mirë i një gruaje në Bibël që kishte në fakt tipare të karakterit të Perëndishëm?
Well, one of my favorites is Rebecca, and that's not because my name is Rebecca, but Rivka is Rebecca. It's just the Hebrew pronunciation of it. But I think Rebecca is a really good example because we see almost her entire life. So we can see her character traits as a child or a young woman all the way through till the time that she died. So I think she's a great person to look at and see how her character traits developed over her life and also how the good traits at the beginning helped carry her through her entire life.
Për shembull, cilat janë disa tipare të karakterit të Rebekës që ajo zhvilloi gjatë jetës së saj? Mund të ndalesh pak më shumë këtu?
Well, we can see from the story where Eliezer came to search for a wife for Isaac, we can see how she behaved as this very young woman. She would go to get water and water the camels, so that means that she was industrious. She wasn't shy to do work. We find out that she was very beautiful later on, but we see that that did not make her feel privileged or make her feel like she was somehow superior. So in one sense, we can glean from that she was humble. She was humble, she was industrious. She, the people asked for water for their camels and she hurried to do that, but then she also offered something else to them. So she was very hospitable, hardworking, and humble. So I think all of these character traits are things that we can see also helped her later in life.
Për shembull, për çfarë i shërbyen këto tipare të karakterit të saj, si e rritur? Për çfarë i shërbyen Rebekës?
Well, we can see that as she became an adult, or let's just take from the time that Eliezer came and told her about marrying Isaac, that she was someone who was willing to participate in the plans of God. So she was a faithful young woman. She was a woman of great faith because she heard about someone from far away that she could marry, and in the end they said, will you go with him? I know some people say that the brothers were answering for her. That's not the case. Her mother said, are you willing to go? And she said yes. So I think that we can see that she was a strong woman that wanted to participate in the will of God. So when doing so, we see that she left her family, she left her homeland, she left everything that she knew to go marry someone in a foreign land, and she did not know him because she believed that that was God's will. So this is something that we can gain a tremendous amount of understanding from. Are we someone who will pray for God's will to be done in our lives, that we want to serve him, that we want to participate in his plans and purposes? But are we willing to leave everything that we know and go into something unknown in order to do that?
Rebeka ishte edhe një nën, pra u bë nën. Për çfarë i shërbyen këto karakteristika edhe si një nën?
Well, as a mother, we know that the Lord came to her and said that the older would serve the younger. He told her about the plans that he had for Isaac, or Jacob and Esau, and what roles each of them would play. And as things were playing out, and Isaac was getting older, and he was favoring Esau because Esau was the strong, out in the hunting type of thing, whereas it says that Rebekah loved Jacob, and it was because she knew God's plan, that the younger would be the one that was served, that the older would serve the younger. Whereas Isaac was more interested in the meat that Esau would bring to him. So we see that Rebekah was still very interested in the spiritual, not the physical, and her faithfulness and wanting to follow God and make sure that his plans and purposes are what were carried out. We can see that then carrying into her adult life.
Është një kapitull tek Bibla, tek fjalët e urta, kapitulli 31 që flet për gruan, dhe është mirë që ta lexojmë atë. Çfarë mund të na thoni për gruan e fjalëve të urta tek kapitulli 31?
Well, I think that when we read Proverbs 31, we get very intimidated, and we get very defensive. I think sometimes that, how can someone do all of that? That's just not possible. But we need to see that there are seasons to our lives, and we're not to do everything at once. But what we can really glean from that, I think, is that the Proverbs 31 woman is someone who is capable, someone who is ensuring the success of her whole family. So this is someone, you can think of her as the CEO of the family. She is making sure that everything runs smoothly, whether it's the finances, the clothing, the food, all of those different things. So I think what we can glean from that is that as women, we can be very strong, we can be very capable, and we have a huge responsibility to our families and our home.
Dhe si mund t'i praktikojmë këto në ditët e sotme?
I think it is realistic to do this today, but it does take a lot of effort. For example, maintaining the household. I think that we're seeing that we're in some difficult financial times coming up here. I know with the cost of fuel, electricity, we had spoken with people who said, listen, this past winter, were we going to heat our homes, or were we going to feed our families? Do we buy shoes? Do we pay for gasoline? And so maintaining the home is a very important responsibility, and we have to maybe educate ourselves in order to balance the finances, to keep everything running smoothly. And with the children being involved in all these different activities, one of the things I always like to say is there were 4 children in my family growing up, and my mom never once forgot to pick up any of us. So just, maintaining the schedule, running the family, it's vital.
Dhe shumë gra që po na ndjekin, Rivka, do donin që të kishin një karakter të perëndishëm. Në fakt, cilët do të ishin disa hapa që ato duhet të ndërmarrin për të përmirësuar karakterin e tyre?
Well, I think that we need to make a conscious effort to exude the characteristics that God would tell us are important. And it might be something as simple as saying, I am going to look today for 3 people that I'm going to help. I'm going to practice hospitality, and I'm going to invite someone to my home for coffee. It doesn't have to be an elaborate dinner. Just all of the characteristics that we're to have. We need to be in the Word. I know I always say we need to be in the Word, but that is our map for our lives, the Word of God. And so see what these characteristics are and come up with practical ways to enact those in our lives and to grow and make a conscious effort in those. Maybe the next time you want to say something that's not quite nice, bite your tongue and try to think of something nice to say instead. So it's very important to know the character traits, know the godly character traits, so that we can infuse them into our lives.
Një pyetje personale për ty, Rivka, ishte e vështirë që të ndërtoje karakterin e Perëndisë në jetën tënde? Mund të na tregosh pak më shumë për këtë?
I think first of all, I was very blessed. I became a believer at a very young age. I was 6 years old, and I had a godly mother who instilled a lot of biblical truth into me, thankfully. But I think all of us have struggles. All of us have weaknesses in our character that we need to work on, whether it's selfishness or jealousy or anger. All of us have these traits that we need to constantly be working on. So yes, I still, of course, have some things that have been a struggle for me, and it is it continues to be, you know, a struggle as we're in our earthly bodies still. But praying and being in the Word of God, getting our assurance and getting all of our security in Him and not in others or things of this world is very important. Looking to Him for everything is I think a huge help.
Dhe sa e rëndësishme është që të ecësh çdo ditë me Jezusin, të kesh një varësi.
It is the only way to live a joyful life, a successful life in God's eyes. That is the only way. You must trust in Him every day for everything. I know people, if you trust in people, if you put your trust in people, you will be disappointed, you will be hurt, but you will never be disappointed or sorry to put your trust in Jesus every day of your life.
Dhe ke parë dorën e Jezusit në jetën tënde, apo jo, Rivka?
I have seen the hand of God. I know that when I was young, the first verse of the Bible I memorized was Isaiah 6:8, and it says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?' Then said I, 'Here am I, send me.'" And that verse just resonated with me, and God told me at that time as a young child that I was going to be sent somewhere with someone, that my husband would be involved in ministry. It just never occurred to me to be doing something else. So God can work in our lives, prepare us for what He's going to call us to do. And I felt very early on that was going to be the case.
Dua të falenderoj, shumë faleminderit dhe shumë bekime mbi ty, Rivka.
Thank you so much.
Miq, pas kësaj interviste do të kalojmë në publicitet, do të rikthehemi me të tjerë të ftuar në studio.